Good evening, everyone. Yeah, excited to be here today with you all. It's going to be an interesting class. So so I want to ask a question. How has the experience been so far? How has the Web3 ladies been treating you guys? What can you say? Like has been your takeaway so far with all you've been taught so far and everything? Can someone just like tell me how it's been and what they're looking forward to? Nobody.
Okay, I'll go.
Yeah, go ahead,
The,
Sifa.
the journey so far has been very enlightening. Like I knew about product management, but this what I'm learning is quite is should I is here is different from what I learned the first time from an online course. So I look
Mm,
forward to learning more and more about it. The online course that I took, I didn't hear anything about design thinking,
mm,
hearing
mm.
about it with three ladies. So yeah, it's very enlightening and I look forward to learning more.
Yeah, thank you so much. Very important. Yeah, because one interesting thing about this program is that Web2 ladies have gone through the stress of even bringing topics for you guys. I didn't choose this topic. So they've been the one that have organized everything, set out the topics and modules to be taught. So I'm just pretty much building on what they've done so far, just to enlighten you guys and make sure that what you'll be learning will be something that will be useful in your journey. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Excuse me. Yeah, before I do that, so let me introduce myself. But let me share my screen first. Um, okay, give me a second. All right, can you guys see my screen now?
Yes, I can.
All right, great. All right, quick introduction. My name is Marvelous Ejamizu. I'm a product manager at the 99 Edge and an outsourcing and HR firm. We do a bunch of other stuff. I'm pretty much an industry agnostic company. So yeah, um, that's where I work. I have a background in editorial. I work as an editor in chief for a medical magazine. I have a degree in medical rehabilitation from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. So I have a background in editorial, was editor in chief. I have a background in customer success. And yeah, then from customer success to branding to editorials to product management. So that's where I am now. So hopefully, I don't know what the future holds for me, but of course, progress along the way. So yeah, that's just about yeah, that's just pretty much about me. So let me not dwell on me. We are here for you guys. Yeah, so this week we'll be talking about today. Yeah, this week we'll be talking about idea generation and testing slash validation, and pretty much an introduction to MVP. That's pretty much what we're talking about this week. So today I'll take you guys on idea generation and testing slash validation. So before I'll go to the next slide, can someone tell me what anytime you hear idea generation or to validate an idea or to test an idea, what comes to your mind? Hi, Super Lioness. Yeah, can someone tell me what comes to mind when you hear of idea generation or idea validation or testing? Hello,
Okay, good evening.
good evening, please.
Um, when I hear idea validation and idea testing, what comes to my mind is okay, we have developed ideas on something, and now we want to see if those ideas will actually work out. So we are testing them.
Mm, pretty much that's just like pretty much what it is. Thank you so much for that explanation. Great. All right, so okay, look at what it says. What is idea generation and how do we generate ideas? So idea generation is described as the process of creating, developing, and communicating abstract, concrete, or visual ideas. It is the front end part of the idea management funnel, and it focuses on coming up with possible solutions to perceived or actual problems and opportunities. Now, what does this mean? Like she says, it's just thinking of something like pretty much thinking of things that you feel that is an issue and you want to solve it, and you want to work on it, or you want to play around with it. That's what pretty much um, idea generation is. So you maybe just sit there by yourself and there are a lot of things that you see around your everyday life, and you see, and maybe you be like, okay, I think I want to do something with this stuff here. I think this thing can be improved, or I think this thing shouldn't be here. Blah, blah blah blah. This is idea generation. It happens. It's not like rocket science where you have to necessarily sit down and start brainstorming or anything. Idea generation comes up at any point in time. Even now, so I'm sure many of you might be thinking, oh, this class is somehow, how can I make it better for that will suit me? That is idea generation. So pretty much, so we say it's the front end part of the idea management funnel and focuses with possible solution to for actual problem. Now, when you talk of idea generation, we have the pretty much what I would like to describe as the front end part of idea generation and the back end part of idea generation. So the front end part is pretty much thinking of ideas, um, how to sorry, I'm distracted. Excuse me. Yeah, so yes, the front end part just has to do with creating ideas, thinking of ideas, and to refine and evaluate it. Like idea management now. So yeah, creating bringing up ideas just the front end part, and then the back end part is what we also look into. So we have the validation and testing, and then the implementation. So this is what you now. That's when the job now comes in, which is the back end, where you have to think deeply and ideate and validate and test your ideas and assumptions. Then you implement it and see if you're actually doing what is right. Now, okay, what are the ways to generate ideas? Like I was saying, there's a lot of ways to generate ideas. It's not rocket science. It can happen at any point in time, but if I just had 6 slides to fix in everything I have to teach about this topic, so that's why um, the notes is very short. So, but at the end of the day, there are resources where you can go further and read about idea generation and get a full understanding of this topic as a whole. So don't bother about the short notes or anything. I'll try as much as possible to explain as best as I can. Then later I now read further and yeah, help yourself. So yeah, what are the ways of generating ideas? Like I said, ways of generating ideas include, but not limited to the following. I only included 3 here. There are many ways of generating ideas. Well, let's go with the first one, the 5W plus H method. Now, this might seem random. Each one is 5W and H method now. Now, this involves asking important questions while brainstorming an idea. No, we're thinking of an idea on how to improve something or whatever. Now, this is not they're not standalone. So when you think of something, and pretty much this is how you get started. Say, okay, who am I building for? Who is this idea now? In this idea in my head, who is it for exactly? Okay, what is the idea all about? Like how what can the idea be able to do? Now, where will this idea work? Where will the idea, where will it be mostly useful in the way I think it to be, and when can this idea be necessary? Like, is it now? Should I wait in the future? Maybe when this policy is in place, and then you are all about you're thinking about, oh, the federal government, they're not they're hostile to trade innovation and blockchain technology and all of that. You'll be like, okay, this idea maybe it will work now. Let me wait for when the policies are much better. Then I can now go with my idea to validate my idea or whatever. And then the why. Now, why are you taking of this kind of stuff? Why are you building this stuff? Why is this idea important to you? And then how will this idea be useful to the people you're building for? Now, look, like I say, this method, they all intertwine together. So you cannot be taking where today and taking how tomorrow and taking when tomorrow and taking why. They all happen together. They come and go within your thoughts. So, but this what has to answer this important question. So when your thoughts, it's important that you bring a pen and paper and then start jotting that, okay, um yeah, this idea is in my head, and let me use this method and generate it to make it more sensible. Then now start with the who. We answer the who, we answer the what, answer the where, answer the when, answer the why, and answer the how. So that's what pretty much how the social listening. Yeah, you trace here you use social media platforms to get a feel of what people think or how they feel about an issue. Running and then it goes ahead to say running opinion polls is an effective strategy here. You guys see it all the times on Twitter. Maybe you're thinking of something, you have an idea, you be like, I think this is too much normal. You be like, this is stressing me out. I don't have strength to think too much about it. Let me just go on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. Twitter that people like to call the global public square. Let me go and see what they are talking about. The think about these ideas or something or an issue. So you just go there and you snoop around, you check around, you do stuff to know what people think about something you've thought about. And then if you want to go further, now people ask questions. Um, is Web3 the future of technology? Is Web3 blah 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 something, whatever, is it the future of technology or something? Then you ask the question and then you get what people think about. So that's okay. People think it's the future, so maybe I should keep on building on this idea. It will be useful, even if it doesn't make sense now, it will be useful in the future. And then the third one, which I think is interesting, is think in reverse. Okay, here instead of taking on how to reach your goal, think about how not to achieve it. And in the process, you could get ideas that would have never crossed your mind. So maybe this is like negative marking in school where lecturers, if you fail a question, instead of them to mark it by just that question mark, they'll take another mark from the one you got. That's what called negative marking. So so students devise a way on how to build the system. They'll be like, okay, I'll be sure of this one, this one. Let me answer this question. The ones I'm not sure of, I'll leave you can do it there. Right? So these are ways in which you can take in reverse. Instead of maybe thinking about how to answer questions, enough of questions so you get enough marks, but you'll be thinking about how not to answer some questions so you will not lose marks. So now that is beating the system, that is taking in reverse. So that's just what I did. But maybe think about how do I be like I have too much Twitter followers. How do I stop people from finding up on Twitter and then following me or something? Then you start thinking of how to maybe disconstruct the entire system or thereabouts, and you'll be surprised. Something might just click for you, and an idea is born. So these three ways are these three methods are possible ways in which an idea can be generated. So are you guys following? Did you get that?
Yes, we are.
All right.
Yes.
All right, great. I want to be sure that everyone is following
Yeah,
and
yes, we are following, but please, can you just slow down a little bit? You seem to be rushing.
yeah,
Thank
sorry
you.
about I don't have to talk very slowly, it's embarrassing, but I'll try as much as possible to slow down. Well, I can't help it, but I'll try. So but I just want you guys to follow along. So yeah. Um
Thank you.
you're welcome. So now why do you need to validate all your ideas? It's very easy, like I say, very easy to think about stuff. It's easy to bring up ideas. You know they have the need, but I'm sure a lot of you have thought about a lot of ideas are going to your mind. Well, is that idea, is it an important stuff? Is it necessary? Like, does it even make sense? So now that's where this comes in. Why do you need to validate your ideas? So let me read out what I read. So um ideas, sorry, ideas, especially new ones, are very unpredictable and many at times not reliable. And if any goes wrong, it could be very disastrous to your company or even the projects you're planning. So now the purpose of validation is to make sure your idea has real demand, otherwise risk has real demand, or otherwise risk of it becoming just another cool idea. So you have to um, validation helps you ascertain that this your idea is important, like people really need it, and not just something that is nice. It sounds good in the ear and it's futuristic, and but that's just where it ends. It's not going to be useful for anybody. So that's where validation comes. It helps you to build on your idea and make sure that you stand strong in them. So it goes ahead to say your ideas must be able to solve a real problem, fulfill its intended purpose, or appeal to other incentives. Like say, there may be other things apart from solving a problem the idea might be able to do. So the idea might be able to um, keep an interest of a particular stakeholder entity, like maybe a government of a country wants to do something, like, they want to like carry out a program or something, and they don't want anybody to be aware of it. They don't want it to be public or something. Now your idea could, this way other, what I'm trying to explain here is other incentives. So your idea doesn't have to appeal to a larger public. It doesn't have to be solve people's problem. It can just be something that to solve an ulterior motive per se. Maybe someone just wants it, and the idea could help with that. So that is other incentive that this is talking about. The idea could be used in different formats. So I hope that was clear. So validating the problem first and seeing if your solution can solve the problem is often the smartest approach. Creating a solution first and only then looking for a problem to solve is a bad idea, especially if you want to minimize risk. So it's important that you validate your idea. Ensure that there's a problem that you're trying to solve. There is something that your idea is missing. Then you now build. Like once you validate it, this way validation helps. Once that you're sure that your idea is important, in going to solve the problem, then you can build. Not maybe I have this idea. This idea is nice, but let me start building it now. Let me start building it, and then after building it, everybody's paying you dust. Nobody cares about whatever you built. It's not only embarrassing, it's wasteful. So, but make sure you validate any idea you have before you build. So to enable you to minimize risk, to save resources and other stuff, so that you don't just build for building's sake. Now, so it goes ahead, says in some cases an idea can be validated to see if the timing is right, to confirm that you can sell and deliver the solution efficiently enough. So now this is where MVP comes in. Now we'll have just a brief introduction of what MVP is at the end of this class. But this is where MVP comes. So when I talk about see if the timing is right. So you want to do something, you know that people want it. Now, is it the right time to build it? Maybe that's then. Is it the right time to build it? Can your idea, can it solve a solution efficiently, or it's just a test run or something? Then once that idea, you can build an MVP. Now, MVP is not too hard to build. You just build an MVP and then use it to test your idea and see if it's really what anybody has an interest in. So you do that, say, if no one is willing to pay for an offering, the timing might be wrong, or it could be that it's just not a very good idea to begin with. So yeah, once you see the timing is right, TVs, even if you think the idea is good and the timing could be right, or it could just not be a necessary idea for anyone. So make sure that anything that you're building, that you validate it to ensure that it is solving a problem and it appeals to people, and most of the people are willing to pay for it or willing to use it because especially and pay for it. So when your revenues are important, like what you're chasing. I wonder who does not chase revenue, but you get what I'm saying. So that's it. In conclusion, an idea should be validated before investing a significant amount of time and resources in developing it to avoid building can't see what's there. They're not building a product or concept no one wants or isn't willing to pay for. So that's just what this slide is all about. Why you need validation is just to make sure that people want it and are willing to pay for it. That's why you're validating your idea. Nothing much, nothing less. I mean, that could be more, sir, but that's pretty much what validation does for you. It helps you even look at other scenarios like it's mentioned. Is the timing right? Okay. Can I deliver it by myself, or do I need to give it do I even need to sell to another company or give it to another friend to help build it? So if they're sufficiently capable to carry out my idea to fruition. So maybe I just give it to them and they should just build it up, and then I'll now probably be a co-founder or something. So that's where your validation comes in. It helps you build your make sure that the idea is solid and is what people really want. And so we have to go to the next slide. Did that make sense to you guys? Did you understand what I meant there? Like, or do you have any question or what that I should clear up? Are you guys good? Okay, bitch. Okay, what's something?
Yes, I understood what he said.
All right, all right. Thank you for me. Thank you so much. Yeah, I want to mention. Forget that my slide is looking so bland. I've never created a slide a slideshow of this thing. For this is my first time. Because I know in your earlier class it was very visually appealing and all that. Sorry, I don't know how to do design and graphics. So I just put the words and everything. I just keep it English. So pardon me on that. I'm not a designer. So I forgot to mention it earlier. So I know that the class will be boring because it's not visually appealing, but forgive me on that. So let's just listen to me and read what I wrote. I'm like confident that it should help you well enough. So yeah, let's go to the next slide. Okay. Now, how to validate your ideas. Now we've mentioned why you need to validate ideas. Now, how do you validate your ideas? It's not enough to know that you need validation. You need to know how to validate what you're thinking and what is in your head. If not, if you not validate it well, if you not follow the right processes, if you not do what you're supposed to do and validate your ideas well, a bit more going to build something that may not be useful or important. So it's important that you validate your idea properly so that when you go to the back end of of the idea management system where you have to build and test and implement, that it should be fruitful and it will just be successful. So how to validate your ideas. Now, validation is ultimately about testing assumptions. Assumptions are questions that come forward when you're thinking about ideas. So just have that's what pretty much have ideas is about. So validation is ultimately about testing assumptions. It's important to test your risk case assumptions first and not waste time on something that doesn't have potential. So we're thinking about a product or something, how to build a product that builds. Then, of course, a product does not come on its own. It will have a lot of other features that will be necessary for the product to be successful. So you have to make assumption. Do assumption applies. Assumption. Is it assumption? Will I call it a grid or something? Where there is an arrow or chart where you have the not important and important the unknown and the unknown. So pretty much I couldn't add there because like I see the layer, there was not enough space for me to and everything. I would feel like I could have thought to the idea. But pretty much you now arrange your ideas in this kind of in the map. Is it unknown? Unknown and um, un, important and unknown. You're assuming important and unknown um, would be important and unknown will be a risky assumption. So you will test it first. So known and unimportant is not important. It's not necessary that you validate it. So you don't need to start validating that idea. Since you already know it and it's not important, or you know it and it's important. But why are you validating it again when um, it's pretty much clear what that is about? So it's when something is unknown and important. You think it's important and it's unknown, then it's a risky idea. So you have to validate and test it. So that was just one test going here. So now, although there are myriad of ways to validate your ideas, these first steps are practical will go a long way. Now, define your goals. When you want to test an idea, you have to first of all make it clear. Anything you want to do in your life, even when you signed up for like 3 ladies, I'm sure you had a goal. You can not just come here and say, I'll just come to a 3 ladies. Let me not put too much thought into it. Let me just apply for a 3 ladies and keep it moving. I wonder who made it. I wonder anybody that moves around like that moves that way, that carries, that goes through life that kind of way. It's not a very reasonable way to do stuff. So for anything you're doing, whether it's in school, in your life, in any aspect of life, you have to have your goal. Now, in idea validation, in how to validate, and you need to define the goals. What do you want to learn from this validation? Should you validate your market, the people that will pay for a product? Should it be the thing you want to validate with this thing you're building? Your MVP, do you want to validate your market, or in validating ideas, is it your market you want to validate, or is it the problem you're trying to solve that you want to validate first, or is it even the product that you're building? Maybe that problem in the space in which you're building for, the other people that have products that are solving that problem. Now, we want to validate if your own product will also solve the problem, or is it still the same generic thing that everyone is offering? So these are things that will cross through your mind and validating your ideas. So I say these are some of the critical questions you have to answer. Ask yourself, what do you want to learn? Should you validate your market? Should you validate your problem? Should you validate your product? There are other questions to ask here, honestly. Like I said, I was not enough time to pick everything I would have liked to say. But let's keep it moving. So you have to answer some of these important questions. What is your goal? It will be your target. It's like it will be your North Star. It is exactly that's going to be guiding you as you're building, so that you don't lose track of it. So that's what you call your priority. When you create a priority, it's pretty much a document that guides you on what to build. So you don't just wake up one morning and say, let's build this feature. Okay, tomorrow, let's build this feature. No, that's why you as a product manager, that's why you're important. Even your businesses will not hire product manager. Businesses will be like, okay, sorry about this, and just not like, big companies and businesses will be like, and let him be managing what you build and everything. It's not going to occur well for the business. Anybody that tell you that product management is unimportant, they don't do a job, like they don't do anything, the person is lying, because if it's not important, why are they hiring you? Why are product managers in group now? Like, why are people looking for product managers to help them build products, to help them validate their ideas, to help them launch products and features, to help them make profits? So you as a product manager, you are very invaluable to a company. Just make sure that you continue to upskill yourself, and companies to come for you. I don't know of any company that is successful now that don't have a product manager. I mean, except maybe you're doing something else that does not involve building, that is not innovative. So you can try to just look at what your this thing is doing, what your computer is doing, and start building. Even at that, you need a product manager to help you take it to top notch. So, like I said, let me not derail. So yeah, you need to have a goal, you need to have something that you're working towards, so that you don't lose sight of what you're trying to do. so that it's your eyes is on that goal, on the focus when you're validating your ideas. It's very, very important that you make this known to yourself. Now, the second one is develop a hypothesis. Now, it's time to develop a hypothesis based on your goal. What are the most critical assumptions related to your idea? What is the minimum success criteria? Your hypothesis help to define what's most important to you. So you ask yourself some questions. Excuse me. Oh yeah, so you make kind of so yeah, develop a hypothesis is okay, you've thought about your idea and everything, and you'll be like, if this thing goes like this, it's almost like a success criteria or acceptance criteria. Well, if you are writing user stories, this is like way people write, like different way people write user stories. So starts with the bits, then cut it down to user stories, and then write the acceptance criteria in the table. So this is really happening, just like a success criteria. Success criteria will be like, um, this is something that will happen if this thing happens. So it's an assumption. So if you're validating your idea, you need to answer some questions. You need to make some assumptions known. You need to develop a hypothesis of your of
Oh, okay.
OMG. You guys, I'm so sorry. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, come now.
Oh, okay. All right. Apologies. I'm so sorry for that. My network it just went off. I don't know why that happened. Thank you. So apologies for that. So let me go ahead and share my screen again. Can you see my screen, right?
Yes, we can.
All right, all right. Apologies again. It was unintentional. I don't even know why that happened, honestly. But let's keep it moving. So yeah, so you need to develop a hypothesis so that it will help you build your idea. It's your hypothesis helps you define what's most important to you in validating your idea. Now, the next is experiment and revise. Now, once you have developed a hypothesis, start validating your assumptions by running experiments. Find out what methods are most useful for testing your assumption and how you plan to execute this test. And this involves this can be through um, taking opinions of people, um, like running or like user research, competitive research, market research. You experiment, then talk about your ideas. Make sure that you play around with it. Like be try to start building something, building an idea in a way. Like let people know that okay, this is what you're trying to build. Like this is an idea that you're trying to create. Talk to people about it. Let them know. Let your industry know that this is something that is coming up. So this is and that how to validate your ideas. So experiment with it with idea and revise. They say validate and develop. In this stage, you can confirm if your idea is to be ever valid or invalid. If your idea has potential, I can't see what is it. And if your physical assumption is correct, and if not, you can start refining your idea or you pivot entirely. So this validate and develop. I'll bring up the case of MVP again. So you know, once you talk about your idea and how to build it and how to make sure that this idea is valid and is what people want and is necessary, you need to build this idea like it has shown potential to not just to you, but to your potential users. Then you cannot validate and build, develop. You cannot develop the idea. Maybe okay, you've thought about the idea and everything. Now, do you want it to remain an idea? No, but you need to start building on it. But you don't have the all the stuff to necessary to build it. So you start developing little by little. Now then, like I said, I'll go back to MVP, create an MVP, and then start looking at people their reaction to it, your idea and whatever. And if it's great, you now iterate. Or you just okay, maybe or you just you will, in validating your ideas, you will learn new things. You'll be like, okay, I missed this thing when I was trying to validate my ideas. This thing, I missed this assumption, I missed this question, I missed this thing. Then you not start saying, okay, you not go back to the drawing table and be like, okay, let me now change the entire structure of how this my idea should look like. Let me now put it in another way that people have talked to and people that have seen it and people that have experimented with it will like. So you now go back and then pivot, make it better, or just anything there to make sure that your idea is like it is really, really important for people and people want it. But again, that you have an idea that you validated this does not seem mean that to be successful. But that's why this validation is very important. So when you're validating and you're seeing how things are going and be like, this is a great idea, quite all right. You pat yourself in the back that you're trying to do something important, but it will not work. If great companies have folded, so it's not you will not be the first person that an idea will just be will not just work. So you now be okay. I'll try what I can. I don't have the resources to invest the wheel. I don't have the capacity to do stuff. Let me just kill it. Let me just end it, and then as ending it, another idea will come up. You build and validate again because this kind of things happen. If not, if everything will go, oh yes, everything will be correct 100%. Like yes, if you have to validate ideas, if you learn that why to validate ideas, if you learn how to generate ideas, if everything will go right for everybody, more, I don't know how this world will be. Everybody will be CEO or something now. So it's not just possible that things will necessarily work out. So your idea might just be pretty much an idea. You just keep it to your diary or in your stool and just feel good about it and let's just end it. And don't bother yourself trying to build stuff and then wasting money that should have been used for enjoyment or something else. So yeah, that is it with how to validate your ideas. Now the last thing that I have to talk about is like an introduction to MVP. I'm not going into detail here because I just had to introduce what an MVP is. So you just the slide and we'll be done. I don't know why this Y Combinator is showing here. So I don't know why, but that's by the way. Um, an MVP is what we call a minimum viable product. An MVP is not a prototype. Let me just continue. An MVP, minimum viable product, is the version of a product with just enough features and functionalities to be usable for early users, who then provide feedback for future versions. So now you validate your ideas, you've generated ideas, you validated them, you've done this, you've done that, you've clarified your assumptions, everything is right, and it looks promising, it looks great, you've done your research, you've done your user marketing, everything looks great. Now what is the next option? It's not for you to kind of start making sure you've come up with features to build. You come up with your PRD, you come up with nice things that this your idea will be. Sorry, okay. Um, is someone trying to say something? Please, sorry, can you mute your mic, please? All right, let's just go ahead. I don't want us to be distracted. So yeah, as I was saying, you've built your idea and it's nice. Now the next thing for you to do is now to build an MVP. And MVP, like I say, is the minimum viable product. It's the version of a product with just enough features, those necessary features. Like now, for example, if I want to log on to Twitter, I need to put in. If I want to have a Twitter account, I need to first of all create and I can put in my name, my email, create a choose an account, this username for myself, and then log in. I need to have a button where I can tweet, where I can type messages, and it's a button where I can tap send and to tweet. I don't need to have a button where I can maybe enter spaces. I don't need to have a button where I can bookmark tweets. I don't need to have a button where I can uh, do some other stuff that or other features that you have. What I need to do is I just need to have an account. I need to be able to tweet. I need to be able to like tweets. I need to be able to retweet tweets and probably share. But I don't. I will not. Yeah, I will not call it a very very important feature. So these are just clear features that a Twitter kind of product will have for it to be functional. Then with time, you'll be learning from your users. You'll be doing product analytics, and product manager, you'll be doing product analysis as well. As you work in a startup that don't have money to hire a full-blown data analyst. We have big companies that even this user research that we do, we have companies that have dedicated user researchers, that have dedicated competitive researchers. So all you can do, but you as a product manager in that startup, you have to do all these things yourself. It's within your belt. So you're never analyzing your products. Where are our customers dropping from? Like where are they dropping off? What do they think about this? Where are they and where are they having most fun at? This is not, you're not asking any question, you're just studying your customers' behavior. This is unknowingly or unknown. Your customer, you're taking this action knowingly and unknowingly safe in your product. But till you're behind the scene monitoring them, okay, in the sign up page, there are a lot of people are dropping off there. What is the problem? Why are we churning too much here? Why are they churn here too much? So you have to say, okay, there's something fundamentally wrong here. You will have to start looking for how to iterate that part of the product. Or maybe you come and people are having fun. A lot of people are liking tweets rather than retweeting tweets. What do you do? You look for a way to make sure that people are able to like more, bring more tweets to people's timeline that will enable them like tweet or something. Or just look for a way, just look for what people are enjoying the most. Make sure that they're happy there. Make sure that you don't lose them. If everything looks good, don't touch it. Don't even touch it. I'm really saying do nothing. Just leave them. Let them be enjoying that what they are. It's me that is the good feature, and to users like it there. So it's all good and fine, but you need to monitor them too. So those places where they look up or where they just stop and they'll go back or do something or they're just there briefly. You'll be like, okay, how can I make sure that they are here more? I'm talking like how big tech companies think. They always want to we talk about Apple, talk about TikTok, talk about Instagram. They don't want you to leave their sites. So they'll keep on buying you content, pushing you content that will make sure that you're there. Make sure that because they've seen what you like seeing. Maybe you're someone that likes watching cooking videos or baking videos on Instagram. Instagram is connected. Though when next time you come, you will see a video of cooking or baking. Next time you will see videos, If you go to Google, you will see video. If you go to TikTok, you will see it. Because they're selling your data. Like, yeah, that is the truth. And big tech, they'll say, okay, this is what they like. Go there and make sure that they're using this product. Like they're always on the product 247. Because they have monitored you and see what you like. So they want to keep you in with them as much as they can. That's how that's how it should be seen. That's how you want to make money. Because the more people spend on your product, using your product, the more money you make. So this is just what everything's all about. You monitor your users, make sure that see what they're like and what they're not, and improve on it. Now, also you ask questions. You don't have to like you don't have to do anything huge or something. That's just yourself monitoring them, but it's still better that you monitor your users. You can ask questions. And sometimes I'm sure that there are sometimes when you use a product and they'll be like, help us rate it, help us rate this feature. And how do you, I'm sure after this call now, once this ends, I got it. You see, Google will tell you to rate it 5 stars or whatever. They want to hear what you're saying so that they can integrate on it. Maybe if you are 40 here now and maybe 30, give it 1 stars, they'll be concerned. Then they'll not come back, they'll not start making assumptions. Why is this happening? What can we do to make the experiences better? So this is what companies do. They send you requests to answer questions and all of that, and then blah blah blah, and then just improve the product. And then what they do, and just look at what you're talking about, or what your feelings about that product. Maybe some of you, I just like I read some tweets that says, no matter how Pocket App tries, I'm not going to withdraw into. No matter how Piggyverse tries, I'm not going to withdraw into my Pocket App. I'm sure the product manager took notice of that. You know that they know that customers have clocked what they're trying to do, and it's not that they have no interest in putting their money in pockets. So now what would they do? They'll try to. Of course, it's just one person. But if the tweet has too much likes, it should be too much like a retweet an agreement on a post. As product manager, this is what we call monitoring user behavior and social listening. So you just be watching and say, okay, this is what they think about my product. You go back in your table and start iterating, looking for a way to add value, looking for a way to reduce some issues, looking for a way to make it seamless for them. So this is what MVP just tries to achieve. But I think that I said as a product manager, but then again, as a product manager, is your job to make sure that your product is successful. Even if your product is most times you won't get accolades, but it's important that you collect accolades and people know that it is true that like it is your job, like helping. Because if the product is not good, it will still fall on your head, even if it's not even if it's not your fault, even if it's probably a business decision. Should be that they say that bank lost 6 billion naira a year. Someone went in and blamed product manager. The product manager is the cause of the problem. How is the product manager he does not set the vision of the product or of the company. Is the company that sets the vision, and then the product manager creates strategy and roadmaps on how to approve it. And it is not that you've created your strategy and roadmap that your stakeholders are signing off on it. Though you might be like, no, this is not what we want to do now. This is how we want. This is our strategy going for. And like I say, you're not the CEO of the product, though. You're a product manager, so you have to agree with it. But make sure that's why you have to be as a product manager. One of the skills to tell is to be persuasive. Show them the data. Think that no, this is not how this thing should be done. See where a problem is. Let's not do this stuff. Make sure try and convince them, but you can only do so much. So if they're not willing to accept, you can still build whatever they want, because that's what you're paid to do. Although after giving critical analysis of the situation and they do listen to you, go ahead and build because you want to keep your job too. So yeah, a product manager, like, you have to be MVP. Once you be the MVP, you have to track it. You have to make sure that you look for ways to improve on it. Listen to your customers, get how they feel, and make sure that you continue to improve on it. Iteration does not end. I know if you have a new feature, more features will come in the future, more iterations will happen in the future, more features will be killed off. So this is just what MVP is all about. Then it's good to say an MVP is not a poorly made product rushed to the market. Yeah, it is not a prototype. It's not something you just push. The thing is a lot of bugs are on it. The thing is not even you can't even swipe very well. You can't even click on a button does not even click very well. It's not an MVP, you just beat rubbish. So that's why it's important to know what an MVP is. An MVP has to solve a problem. It's not a poorly made product that is just the money. It doesn't have to be poor. It's a good product, but we just that minimal stuff that will make your users use the product. Then later you can now add the delighters and other features now to make them stay, like to keep them to retain your customers. So yeah, because I say it's the smallest set of features your product can have and still be useful at least for the early users so they can provide feedback for improvement. Like I said, you just have to have enough features so that as the users are using it, they'll be saying, okay, I this enough. I want this here, I don't want this here. Then you iterate and contribute. Now, a good MVP, by having limited features, must be functional, reliable, usable, and desirable. Functional, it has to you have to achieve that aim that the user is trying to achieve. It has to be able to solve that aim the user is trying to achieve. Functional, that you build an MVP, but who you're building it for is not. They put is not solving the user's problem. Then your product is not functional. Your MVP is not functional. So can you say they say MVP has to be functional? So even if it's just it does a basic product you built, it still has to be functional. It still has to solve that problem. Of course, it could be better, but it should solve that their most pressing need. It has to be reliable. When users are using it, when they expect that when they want to use it, it goes through and they don't express any roadblocks or any curveballs. So make sure that your product, your MVP is reliable. And then make sure that you're able to use your users are able to use your product. Your MVP has to be usable for that user. The user has to be able to use it and make sure that they achieve that end they're trying to achieve. So, and then it has to be desirable. Make sure that when you still have those features, it's functional enough that your users will desire it. So your users will be like, yeah, it could be better, but I'll still have to go back to it. I still need this. I cannot delete. There's something apps people have in your phone that is not really much of a big deal, but you desire having that app in your phone. It's desirable for you. You like the app. The app is solving some maybe intangible need for you. Sure, everything has to be desirable for users. If it's not desirable, it could just you can as well die off. So this is just basically what an MVP is, and that's it. So you make sure you gather ideas, you validate it, make sure you validate your ideas, and then you build on these ideas, and then create a minimum viable product for that idea. And say it's not a prototype, so maybe will just be prototype, especially designers, and call it MVP. It's not. It's different. MVP is different from a prototype. MVP has to be usable. Prototype, I don't see where you use a prototype. But if an MVP is a functional product, it's usable, it's reliable, and it is desirable. And that brings me to the end of my topic. So yeah, the last slide, you have resources for wait, I'm supposed to I'm supposed to this class is supposed to be divided into two, and I taught everything today. I wonder if there will be classes tomorrow again, because I don't have any topics to check in for this week. Maybe later the coordinators can tell us that. So yes, yeah, this is the live slide, these resources, but I'll update this slide later because I'll have to give the assignments, but it won't need it now. Maybe on Wednesday or Thursday, the slide will update the assignment so that you can work on it. So yeah, that brings me to the end of today's class on idea generation and testing slash validation and an introduction to your minimum viable product. Yeah, so that's it. That's my class for today. Thank you so much for all of you that came in and has stayed till now. You guys are MVPs. We're not the minimum viable product this time around, but the real MVPs, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that's it from me. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, any questions? So yeah, questions. Anybody, what I've taught so far? Is there, thank you, Ayomide, thank you. Is there anywhere you have difficulties that didn't make a lot of sense to you? And you want is you need clarification on that. Okay. Who's the okay? Sorry, Fumi. Yeah, please go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, thank you very much for the class. And so I was trying to visualize everything that you said, and I'm quite confused on the MVP parts. So like it was better when you said that MVP is different from prototype, because in my head somehow I was thinking an MVP is like a prototype. So but now the problem is, so is it the PM that actually like develops the MVP? Because it sounds like a lot of people would have worked on the product at that stage. So it's not just the business of the PM, unlike a prototype that the product manager would like work on by himself or something like that.
Yes. Of course, you cannot build an MVP on your own. Of course, what you do as a product manager is just to create an MVP requirement, a product requirement document. You create a document and you know the features that you want to build, because as a product manager, you need to know how your product works. So you create a document and say this is what will contain in this MVP, in this product at the moment. You create a user stories, user personas, and then write down acceptance criteria and release criteria, and then you share it with your developer and say, okay, this is what I'm going to build now. So these are the features you want to do, and then you prioritize, and then you share the tasks. Project manager, you now share the tasks to your developers and say, this is what you're building, and then you guys will build an MVP. And that's just so you don't build an MVP on your own. You just create documents. Your job is to validate the idea, validate why you're building the product, make sure that you have that data backs what you're building, that is going to be useful to the people that are going to use it. Then you create a document, have an MVP requirement, and then share it to your developers, designers, and then they'll build. It's not like I said, the product manager, your only duty is to say what and why of a product. How to build it is mainly out of your control. It's not your duty. It is the designers and developers' duty on to say how the product will be built. Yes, you might have a way that you want it to be built. You can suggest to them. That's the most you can do in this case. You can suggest to them, this is how I want it to be built, blah, blah, blah. But it is not your job to say how it should be built. Your job is to say what and why. The how is for your developers and your designers. Thank you. Did that answer your question, sorry, for me?
Yes, thank you so much. And sorry, I have a second question. I'm so sorry. So in the process of validating your ideas, because I know that okay, you can use Google Forms and all of that. So like are there any other things that you could like suggest that have probably been useful to you or something?
But I think like, you got tools you can use like CRM tools, Airtable to collect ideas and all that stuff. I think like then you use that behaviors and that way to validate your ideas, and and there are different main ways to validate ideas. So but when you use your Google Docs and everything, you're trying to carry out user research. So just there are different tools there are different tools available online. I don't have access to majority of the tools, but you can always research and Google and know the kind of tools that will be important to you for to help you validate your ideas. So, but don't depend on tools. Just make sure that you're answering some important questions in idea validation. You know, to make sure that it is reasonable enough that that your idea makes sense. So on tools, there are different tools you can use that you can always Google about. I don't know a lot of it. So that's it about that. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much.
So welcome. Ayomide, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. So, I don't particularly have a question. I just wanted to share a contribution concerning the question about prototypes and MVPs because, to be very honest, I think it's something that we're always mistaking, and the difference is very slight. So, most oftentimes, there's always confusion. But I like how you have established the difference between a prototype and an MVP. So, just to add a an MVP is a prototype is not an MVP.
Mhm.
Um, an MVP, like you said, minimum viable product is just like the product that we are trying to build. We have identified some certain features and we want to validate these features. So I think we can differentiate both of them by looking at um, the level of commitment. So building a prototype, um, if it doesn't exactly fit or validate the particular feature that you're testing, you could
Yeah.
scrap it. But in an MVP, you cannot destroy everything that you started from because if you have done your research and identified some certain pain points that you want to validate. So an MVP is something that you build on, just like agile methodology. It's an iterative stuff. It's not just build from the beginning to the end and then you now start identifying difference or whatever. You build on it. And then I think in terms of the audience, an MVP covers like it's a minimum version of your product. So you're actually launching it into the market and then testing. But I think a prototype it's something that you can work internally. So you could just create like a small prototype and then have people within the organization or the people in your team that are working on it. And then I think in terms of scope, I think that's one way to differentiate both of them. So
Yeah.
prototypes, it is very easy for you to come up with a variety of them and to change them or adapt to certain ideas. But in an MVP, you already have like a certain list of pain points that you they have features like you've done your research and they have those features. So you want to be very sure that okay, these things are there. And then when people start using it and then maybe there are some problems or whatever, you can now build on these features. So I think I've been able to share my own from my own knowledge what I
Yeah.
understand difference between MVP and because an MVP you could for your MVP you could actually decide to do like something like a prototype or a concise or a landing page or something. But it's just like um a small version of what you want to actually do. I think when everything is all perfect and has all of the features, it could now be, a minimum lovable product, which is very different from the MVP.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's contribution. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Ayomide. Thank you for your input. It's very, very important that you share your thoughts. Um, it's very important that you share your thoughts on this on issues that you feel you can add value to. So thank you, Ayomide. You make a lot of points. Someone asks, is an MVP a product in beta? Yes, you could say it's a product in beta. Yeah, because you still have to improve on it. So yes, that is it. Does anyone have any other question or thoughts, or they would like to share? Anybody? Anybody? So I want to believe you guys understood my class. This one no one wants to answer the question. So is that so? Real world use case of a prototype and MVP. I mean, they don't say something again. Okay.
And yes, sir, I just wanted to thank you for like the class and everything. And I also wanted to say that since you've already done like 2 day classes, even if we may not have a class tomorrow, be expecting questions. Because maybe when I'm going to my study and I have any questions, I would come into your DM and maybe if you have any, and then I would
Yes.
really appreciate if the assignment can be put out early enough so that we can start working on it.
Okay.
So we won't have to
And
be waiting for like the end of the week.
no problem. I don't have control. In fact, my assignment was in the slide, but I was told to remove it because I was supposed to take a class tomorrow, then add it. But I finished my class today, so normally it should be there. But I don't have like authority over when the assignment will be posted. So maybe later I'll have a meeting with the instructors. Then if I can put it out today or tomorrow, then I'll put it out. So that's it about that. Thank you, take care of the for your thoughts and for
Thank you very much.
you're welcome. So yeah, feel free. You can always I'm available. My name in the group chat is Miss Vice. Is my name here too. MARVW Mavi. So that's my name in the Slack channel. So you can always Slack me anytime for any question that you have. Chineke, what's the question again? Can you give a review what this case of recruit type and MVP? I don't that is yeah, I don't know. MVP is mostly an prototype is mostly an in-house stuff. It's not something that everybody has access to. It's mostly you and your internal stakeholders that have access to a prototype. The MVP is now what to show the public. So I don't know if there is a real life use case of a prototype and MVP. If anybody has, you can help out with that question, or maybe later you can come to my DM and I'll help with that if I've seen any situation like that. Okay, I am the go again. What do you have to say?
Okay, I want to give an example of maybe a prototype and an MVP.
Oh, you're great.
So, uh, okay. So imagine a particular company that is an e-commerce company. They sell things online, and they now decide that, oh, okay, let's build a a different branch that okay, we know we sell clothing or ready-made clothing. Okay, we want to start selling bags and shoes and the rest. So what if we now like put it on our okay, or maybe another okay, no, that's that's yes, sorry, scrap that. Okay, for example, imagine they sell clothes and they deliver to people and everything. And they're like, okay, let's build let's build an app or a particular type of service that okay, we're going to be selling fabric, we're going to be importing fabric from abroad that people cannot get here. So that people that are fashion designers can buy these products from us, and they can also people that also want this fabric to um use to make dresses for themselves. They want to they can order from us, they can buy from us. So I'm not very sure of the idea if it's going to work or not. So I can decide to do the prototype. Okay, I can decide to on my main website that okay, I have a fashion brand and everything. I can decide to put somewhere, maybe like a landing page somewhere that, oh, get
Mm,
so and so imported fabric at so and so percent, blah, 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 blah. And then I'll not study and watch that. Okay, people that are here, they are fashion enthusiasts. People that come to my website in the very first place are fashion enthusiasts that, okay, they want to buy, um, they want to buy clothes, they want to sew clothes. So I can now look at research, I can do my statistics, my testing and everything, and look at how the activities on the website. If people are actually looking at actually taking time to like maybe click on it and they want to patronize or something. So if I do my validation and say that okay, this is something that people actually want, I cannot proceed to build an MVP. It could be like another website entirely that now has these features that okay, people that want to buy clothes, they want delivery in so and so days. They want this specific type of fabric. Okay, people want this. So now look at my from the what I have. I have certain assumptions from the small prototype that I put out, and then from those assumptions that I have, I will not think of features that I'm going to put in the new website that I'm creating. That okay, this website is for people that want to buy fabric from abroad, or people that want to buy fabric from abroad and make clothing. So and I have like some certain assumptions. So when I want to give my MVP, minimum viable product, to actually validate those assumptions. And an MVP is not like a prototype because I already have an idea that okay, this is what they want. But am I really solving the problem the way they want it to be? Okay, I know that they want to buy clothes and everything, they have agreed. But do I know when they expect delivery? Do I know the type of clothing, the type of fabric that I should import from abroad? Should I import more of silk than cotton or something? So I will not look at my at those assumptions that I've gotten from the small research I've done, which is the prototype to validate. I'll now build some certain features on that app, which actually solves those problems, but I'm not very sure of it. So that's what the MVP does. So if I now decide that okay, I'm building a website that has satin, cotton, and the rest, and people now start complaining that oh, on this website I can't buy so and so fabric, and then I cannot build another feature that okay, this if you want to purchase this other type of fabric, I add it to it. So I have my MVP already, and then when I continue um watching my users, like the clients and everything, and if I cannot keep on building and building and building and building and building an iterative process, something like that. So I think that's for my understanding. I may be wrong because I think if you do your research, maybe you have time to go to the internet or read books and everything. Please feel free to correct me. But from my knowledge and what I have learned, I think that's like a small example of a prototype and an MVP. An MVP is just okay, you already know the problem, you've done your research, you've already identified the problem, you now build a product, you have built it, and then you have some certain um features that you know that okay, these particular features are what these are the things that are solving the problem. You have an acceptance criteria or success metrics like what Mavis taught us not too long ago. So you are now testing and building upon it iteratively using agile methodology, which is the very essence of product management. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you for those. Like I said, this is just an introduction to MVP. We cannot talk about MVP completely within 1 hour or 2 hours, or maybe we can. But this is just to get you have a feel of what an MVP is, and I'm sure you guys are able to get what that is. Okay, so for me,
Please, I
please
have
go
one
ahead.
last question.
No, wait, let's me go. Me go.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much. I also wanted to add, or let's say as a follow-up, so because I've heard of wireframes before, and I don't know if this is a good time to probably differentiate between the three, or if it's something that we'll still talk about in the next class. But if not, I don't know if you could also like talk on.
I missed you. I missed the beginning of the question. Please, can you start from the beginning?
Okay, I said that I just wanted to also add because I've heard of wireframes before, and I don't know if it's something that would still talk about later in class, or if now is a good time to like chip in and just try to explain their differences.
Okay, yeah, wireframing is I thought you call user flow, but in a PRD. So user flow is the step of action the user takes while using your product. The possible permutations of steps that you want your user to take while using your product. Now, how do you make sure you visualize it? Like, okay, instead of just writing it down, the user will click here. This sounds like good. A user will click here. A user will go here. A user will swipe here. You want to visualize it. You want people your stakeholders to see how it look like. You want your engineers to have a feel of what is in your mind. So you not develop a wireframe. Now they're going to develop it. They have the low fidelity wireframe where you use pen and paper and start drawing strings and drawing shapes and drawing lines of the steps that will take. You have low fidelity wireframe where you use Figma or other stuff, or high fidelity wireframe. You can use Figma also, or Miro, or Lucid, or Vismaker to create a high fidelity wireframe, whereby where you show the steps the user will take. Or anyway, but you just in user flow, you can use it to visualize your products. So that's just what wireframe intends to do. It doesn't, yeah, it's different from prototype and MVP. Thank you. Did you get that? Sorry for me. Did that answer the question?
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, all right. Please ask your question. Please, I would do, and you wanted to ask me a question earlier, right? So, ask me.
Yeah, sorry. I wanted to ask, so things like landing page, marketplace, concierge, newsletters, plain donuts, are they MVPs or prototypes?
These are a landing page could be a prototype. Yes, it could also be an MVP. But now, what the difference is that is the landing page? Is it just is it can it be used for any other thing apart from visual seeing it as a landing page? Now that is different. So if it's now again, let me go back to the slide. So you will get to know the difference. An MVP is not the prototype. A prototype does an MVP has to be functional. A prototype is not really. An MVP has to be reliable, usable, and desirable. So when you build this thing, even you that is building itself, if you're creating a wireframe, you will know because there's a limit to which you can see yourself. Because you have to ask yourself some questions. Is this thing solving a problem? Is it functional enough? If it's not an MVP. So it's easy to it can even mistake it. It can say I created a prototype, I created an MVP. Who has the prototype be created? But ask yourself the question: is it functional? The answer is no. It's not an MVP. Is it reliable? The answer could be this could be prototype reliable. This thing, but if it's not if this is not reliable, it's not MVP. Is it usable? If it's no, it's not MVP. Is it desirable? If it's no, it's not MVP. Your prototype could be beautiful. It could be appealing. It could be help. It could help you in a way, but it has to meet a standard. It's like things the version of the product with and it has to have features and functionalities. This functionality is the number one thing to solve, which is your need. If it has to solve it, there is and functionality to be usable for early users who then provide feedback for future versions. So everybody has to people have to be able to use it to solve their problem. You get so when they use it and solve their problem, then to that send you feedback to improve on it. A prototype does not do any of this. So that's what you should take from that. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
They want to say something.
Mr. Mavi, I just want to thank you because, to be very honest, before I registered for this class, I was on a self-paced learning process. And you know when you learn something and when you have somebody like an instructor who's like teaching you, it comes to life and it makes sense. So I just
Yeah.
wanted to say thank you again because as I explained, there's just sitting the neuron in my head and everything that I've been reading that seems abstract to me is like
Mm,
coming to life. Like I like the fact that you differentiated an MVP from a prototype by using the word functional. And I think
mm,
that's what differentiates that makes us actually get confused. It's actually
yeah.
functional. It has to have those features. The prototype it doesn't have all of those things that an MVP has. A prototype is just basically used in the delivery phase to like know the actual solution that is being built after validation. But then an MVP is like the minimum version and it's delivered right away into the market. So that means it's simple, it's well polished, it doesn't have too many bugs or problems and and the rest. So yeah, thank you very much. Class is
Thank,
beautiful.
thank you, Ayomida. I appreciate your kind words. Thank you so much. Please do any of you have any other questions to ask? So I can just any questions or any thoughts, anything you would like to say, feel free. All right, I don't to keep you guys waiting, so let me not so kind of let me if I count down. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So yeah, nobody raised their hand, nobody wanted to say anything. So that brings me to the end of my class today. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for participating actively. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your opinions. Thank you for your thoughts. Thank you for sharing how you feel. So feel free. You can always message me and like tell me the part that you think I did do well and that you want me to improve on for you, or just anything you like to share with me, or any difficulties you had in the class that you couldn't share with me here. And if I have the time, hopefully I do, I will help and answer that. So thank you guys so much. So Yeah, Faith is Faith here. Do they have anything? Do they have any announcements to make, or do we end the class now? So thank you guys again. Thank you, Ayomide. So yeah, my three ladies. Faith, are you here? Okay, all right. I think I'll have to be the one to end the class. Okay, guys. Thank you so much, Amina. Thank you so much. Let me.
Yes.
Thank you.